Hey everybody, thanks for watching. My name is Jay Martin, and this is a 3v3 game. And the cast of characters here, I'm the GB player right there on the right side. In the middle playing with me is Terminator, and on the left side is Ratu. And these are both guys that are in Huntsman with me, and I really enjoy playing with them. They're really fantastic players. And I should mention, Terminator just started a YouTube channel, and he's putting out these videos that are really, really killer good. They're very methodical, very analytical, and if you're sort of a student of the game, sort of like I am, then I'm sure that you'll find them interesting. So I really recommend that. I'll try to put a link in the comments or whatever, or the description. And then Retu is YouTube channel that I'm sure you've seen. Our opponents for this game, opposite me playing as France, is Jaguar. In the middle is GB is Civ for Dummies. I love the name. And on the left side is Patenteur. Not sure I think it's a French term. But this dude has a fuckload of cav. And initially, I think you'd probably look at that and be like, oh my god, what a noob. But this is actually a legit strategy. I've played games with guys, like on my team, we've done this before. And if you execute it well, you can fuck people up with an extra 20 units of cav. But it requires a fair bit of coordination to use that constructively. And what I wanted to talk about in this video was the importance of teamwork. And a 3v3 game is a lot different than a 1v1 game. In a 3v3 game, you're playing as a team. Now, this is kind of an obvious concept, but it really doesn't matter. If I got 0 kills and all of my people died, if I help my team win the game, then that's good. That's progress. The goal is for your team to win. It doesn't matter how you do as an individual in this particular context. And I think that's something that a lot of people think, but they don't really comprehend. And I think this is a really good game to illustrate the concept, because all that cav is moving, Rat doesn't have an opponent anymore. So Rat is having to move. He's already moving his units this direction. And it's obvious that this player here is moving all of their cav towards the middle, or towards kind of this area in the map. And how we react to that is going to be a little bit tricky, because there's a lot of bad guys coming at Terminator and I, and Ratu right now is trying to get his dudes into position to help us out, is what's going on. And I'm actually going to speed up a little bit till we get interesting. And coordination among your team is very important. And we're lucky, we're really privileged that when I play with these guys, we're able to sort of get on a conference call and talk to each other with our voices. So it's a lot easier to communicate. You don't have to type things in the window there. But you got to find some way to coordinate with your people. If you approach playing a 3v3 as just run straight up the map and engage your particular opponent, that's not incredibly effective. You can be far more powerful using your forces a bit differently. And notice that Rat not only has his infantry backing up Terminator in the middle, but he's moving all his cav over my direction. Because all of the French cav has wound up this way. And my opponent gets things going with a little Lancer charge to clear up my lights, so I have to pull my lights back. This guy kind of did an interesting thing. The French Voltigeurs are not nearly as good as the British Lightfoot, so he sort of tried to compensate by putting chevrons on them. I'm not a big fan of this. I think I don't think this winds up ever changing anything. The person with the mad chevrons on their lights or whatever, even with those chevrons, my lights are still a lot better. But this is an okay tactic. People do this. It's not a terrible idea. I'm not a huge fan of it. But that's something to think about. If you really, really want to win the light infantry fight, then that's something you can do. Okay, and there was something I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, so then what Rat does is he pulls half his army to cover the flank, and Terminator and I are investing pretty heavily in this section of the map, because we have to take care of all this British cav that's going to be coming. Ratu hooks me up with the cav charge in to clear these volts out. And Terminator decides that he's not fucking around. He wants to clear out that French line infantry here before all this cav shows up. So he runs a bunch of his cav to try to kill this French infantry, which is a pretty good deal. And here comes the GB cav. and it's going to charge kind of dumb. This isn't the best way to do this, but that's a real force to be reckoned with. Now, I think if these guys are going to do this a little better, they would be coordinating all this cav use with more of their infantry use, but it's still a pretty powerful force that you have to respect. And the point I want to make is that Ratu has got his line units backing up Terminator. He's got his cav backing up me over here. And this is how you play well as a team. You have to support each other and push advantage where you've got it. Here comes another cav charge in. That rat's spooling up for me. And notice that I've retreated all my light infantry way back. I do not want my light infantry to get run over by this cav. It might come in really handy later in the game. So I want to keep it there. And I think I'm about to see, yes, I'm starting to move my line units up as well. And our kind of general plan right here was to weather the storm. We had to get all of this cav. We have to kill all this cav. And once we do that, then that'll open the game up for us. And so what I'm trying to do is save my cav for that end game stage when we've done that. And I'm starting to re-engage my lights because it looks like the French player is going to move his infantry up. So we need to sort of take care of that. And then I want to zoom back over on this side of the map. You notice that Ratu has moved up his line here on the left. Why is SK talking to me? Yes, I know you. He's moved his line up to cover Terminator's flank, and this will let Terminator focus all of his attention on dealing with the cav. And that's what we're trying to do right now. And on the far right side, we're actually doing pretty good against the French player. He only has some infantry left, and most of his lights are dead. So the only real threat to us, and Ratu is making sure the French guy dies. He's sending more cav in. So the only real threat to us right now is this big gob of cav. And if we can kill that cav off, then we'll be fine. And the cav player here really doesn't have any option. This cav has to come in and charge. A lot of their infantry here is gone, so this cav, they have to do something with it. Now they start to pull that cav back, and they're going to reform to, and here they come, and the charge comes at me. So I start to run my lights back, and I have double ranks of line here. They're probably a little too close, but what I do is I just form squares and try to get all that cav to hit into my squares. I want to get my lights out of there. Ratu has positioned his shooter cav behind to get shots at these guys, and he's got 6 units of those that are going to take care of that. And notice that Terminator is wrapping his guys around to get on the flank. These two players actually, this French player here, these guys were all really highly rated. They had a bunch of stars, and I thought they played pretty good. It was a little awkward circumstance, all that cav there, but the French player realizes it's a good time to advance because this cav is going to be creating a lot of disruption, and so he does that. And we kind of get lucky because this cav sort of all gets caught in a pocket right here, kind of bunched up on this first square, and we get to put a lot of firepower on it. I have 5 units of lights back there. Rat's got all his shooter cav, and we're pulling line units around on the flank here is what we're able to do. The French player makes a pretty bold move, and he wants to get his infantry up on my flank. And, oh, sorry about that. And in order to kind of hold him off, I just start throwing a couple cav units in there. This cav starts to work its way towards my lights, so I throw a cav unit in there to try to stop him up. And really all I need to do is slow these guys down. We're putting a ton of fire on them, and if I can get them all, if I can slow them down, then that'll give our infantry time to shoot up this cav. The French player continues to advance, which is exactly the right thing to do. He needs to advance because he wants to get closer to me and away from Terminator, who's bringing his infantry in. And I don't know why, but I just kind of left these 3 infantry units sitting there. They didn't really do anything for the whole game. And the end is near. We've routed most of this cav, and it's time for me to send my cav in against this kind of isolated and unprotected French infantry. I really just don't want them to go anywhere. If I can keep them from moving, then we have a huge numbers advantage here. Then we should be able to... we have them encircled, and we just need some time to shoot them up. So... that's how, and the real point I want to drive home is this is fucking teamwork. Like, this is the far right side of the map, and we have units from all 3 of our players engaged right here. I mean, that's how you play as a team. I mean, everyone on our team has their units engaged in this little theater of the game. And back over here again, Rat is holding on the left. Rat's got his units wrapped around on the right, and Terminator's holding on the middle. So, there are a lot of maneuver in this particular game. Unfortunately, this poor GB player in the middle, Civ for Dummies, he's, he can't win now. The game's lost for him. Because we've wrapped this player up, and so my whole army is pretty much intact, so I'll be able to move them over there. But I thought this was kind of a neat game. It illustrated the basic principle is that the way that you approach a 3v3 game has to be a lot different than the way that you approach a 1v1. And you can beat players a lot better than you if you're more coordinated. I'm not really that good at this game, but we're able to take down some pretty good teams from time to time, or with good individual players, just because we're really well coordinated. And if you play with the same, that was my dog freaking out. If you play with the same people a lot, then you get used to playing with them, and you get better communication with them, and you can play very well. So anyway, I want to say thanks to these guys for playing with us, and Ratu and Terminator, thanks for playing with me, and I'm going to fast forward to the results screen for you now. All right, so there's the final tally. Again, thanks everybody for playing. Good game to everybody. And for the record, the dog did not successfully eat the cat, which is what she was trying to do. So everything's safe. We're all safe. The dog did not eat the cat. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.